UFC Mexico is in a couple hours. I'm saying this more often than I thought I would. And I'm going to make my full card predictions from Moreno Kavanagh all the way down to Damian Pinas and Wes Schultz. Let's get started. First off, Moreno Kavanagh is a main event. And Rob Font, David Martinez is a co-main. Not something I thought would happen this quick to the Paramount era, but it's happened. I can tell they've definitely cared less and less about the quality of the. Oh, let me move my. There we go. About the quality of the cards and more about just getting them out because it doesn't matter. They're not, you don't pay for the card now. You pay for the subscription, so it's fine. But this is a decent card. There's some fights that I'm excited for. But let's start off with Damian Pinas and Wes Schultz. 8-1, 8-2. They're both debuting, both off the Contender Series. 6-1 to 6-2. Pinas has a 2.5 reach advantage, but Wes Schultz has the 1.5 leg reach advantage. If I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't impressed with Wes Schultz too much. I think he didn't fight as good of competition as I would have liked to seen in like a build up to this type of fight. Let me pull up some of his records. Um, yeah, I wasn't impressed too much with the record of his opponents. Um, Whereas Pinas, he's fought in a little bit better competition, in my opinion. Um, Also, that reach advantage is really gonna help out Pinas with how this goes. Yeah, he lost to Mansur Abdul Malik on the regionals or on the Contender Series. Not that bad. Hadn't had a win again against a Dustin Pape, and then get another win. Oh, we got the Suliyov stretch, the banana split against Mario Menage. But he's beating guys like 5-5 when he's 3-1, decent. 6-3, 11-6 when he's only 2-0, which is kind of crazy. But Pinas, who is he beating that I was impressed with? Wesley Silva 4-5, Jonah Gregory, Carlos Matos 11-3 when he was 4-1. Lost, got his only loss is an illegal kick. Pinas's is illegally kicked Italo Gomez when he was 4-0 into round one. Did he ever run it back? He never ran it back. But he beat some guys like Leonardo Ruiz. He was 8-3, 8-6 while he was only 3-0. He hasn't really lost before. I think Victor Costa's a little bit better opponent than Mario Menage. I don't know. These contender series are hard to tell because recently I feel like these contender series guys are a lot more proven, a lot harder. Not harder, but I guess the word for that would be like they've seemed to evolve. That's probably the best way to say it. They evolved more and more. Whoa, there it is. They've been evolving more and more, so it's a little hard to choose. I'm gonna choose Damian Pinas over. What am I choosing? It. Man, this is an awful beginning. Oh, did I never? Oh, I may have never submitted my. Oh, I never did. By decision. There it is. Picks are entered. Boom. Fantasy MMA. Yeah, by decision. Panas by decision. Just out volume him, keeping that jab going. If I'm being honest, did not research too much for this card. If I'm being an honest man, and I'm always an honest man. But I'm gonna go with Panas by decision. Up next, we have Eric Silva against Francis Marshall. I'm going Francis Marshall. Francis Marshall has 3 losses, and all of them have been. 2 of them are split decisions to Myron Santos, not a bad loss at all, and Willem Gomez or whatever his name is, Willem Gomez. The French dude who won recently on the last French card. I want to say his name is Will. I think it is Willem Gomez. I think it is Willem Gomez. And then who else did he lose to? He lost to someone else. Isaac Dolgarian got TKO'd. Grappled, TKO'd against. Isaac Dolgarian was looking to be a good prospect until he raked his fights. But Francis Marshall is decent. The Myron Santos was a very controversial split decision. Willem Gomez split decision, pretty good, especially considering he had like a huge reach disadvantage and height disadvantage. He still managed to get that out. I will say what scares me is that his only 2 UFC wins, Denis Bujeka and Marcel Rojo, they are decent wins, but they both, his last one, Denis Bujeka, was a split decision. Not the best look. But Eric Silva, leg injury TKO was his last fight against Muhammad Naimov. And then TJ Brown submitted him. And he just hasn't looked that impressive. Again, I think he fought some bums on the regional scene. And he hasn't really proven himself. Whereas Francis Marshall has at least gone against like top competition for pretty early in his career. Like he was 7-1 facing a guy that's 19-6, not that bad. 5-1 facing a guy that's 6-6, 3-1 facing a guy that's 2-4. I don't know. I just think Francis Marshall has shown a level of consistency that should be enough to beat Eric Silva. Now, Eric Silva is, what is he, Venezuelan? They're in Mexico. And I'm just going to say Mexican judges, kind of a little on the biased side. But I think Francis Marshall going to do enough to get a nice 29-28 decision over Eric Silva, winning rounds. I'm going to say 1-2. Probably has the grappling edge, in my opinion. He's got the reach advantage and the leg reach advantage, but I also think he has a good grappling advantage. He's pretty strong. Like I said, he out-grappled Myron Santos pretty well, and Myron Santos has shown to be pretty good in all realms. So yeah, Francis Marshall, 29-28 decision, moving up. Regina Tarrin versus Ernesta Carchietti. Now, Regina Tarrin, hyped up prospect, beautiful looking woman. Mexican, like 7. She's like on a 6-fight knockout streak or whatever. 7-0. Most of her fights are by knockout. But Ernesta Carchietti beat what's her name? What was her name? Who she just fought recently? Carly Judice. Split decision win over Carly Judice, who is really, really good. I don't think Regina Tarrin on her debut is going to have enough experience, whereas Ernesta Carchietti beat Carly Judice, lost to Diana Barbosa, who's pretty good. Diana Barbosa is actually really good. And then won a split decision over Nicole Kalari. I don't remember any of these fights because it's WMMA, and they're all non-memorable. Unless, like, you're Jocelyn Edwards, or, like, Prime Wei Lee. But I just don't think Regina Tarrin, which, by the way, her nickname's Kill Bill. I mean, that's sick. I don't think she's enough, She has a bit of a reach disadvantage and a, like, reach disadvantage. I think Ernesta Carchietti can get it done. Decision. Regina Tarrin, I just think, how old is she? Let me check. She's 21. Ernesta Carchietti is 27. She's young, she's early, she needs to get her first loss. It's going to happen in the UFC. That's just how it works. Any prospect, males, even females, you need that first loss. Regina Tarrin's probably going to lose this by decision, 29-28. Maybe she'll have like a moment. But Ernesta Carchietti should be able to get this done over 3 rounds. Moving up. Douglas. Oh, wait, I didn't. Wrong tab. There we go. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Javier Reyes. Dude. I'm going with Douglas Silva de Andrade, dude. I see Javier Reyes is the favorite somehow. Let's go over this. 5'7", 5'7", 29-6. and 1 to 22 and 5. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I'm gonna spoil it for you. Javier Reyes has a padded record, dude. I'm gonna go over some of these people he's fought. I know I've brought that up a whole bunch in these last couple fights, but this is the guy who I was like, man, his record's got to be padded. He has a reach advantage and leg reach advantage, but when you compare resumes, let's just go over this. Let's go over this quick. Javier Reyes has gone against, let's see. So the contender series, he beat a guy that was 12 and 13, pretty good. Lance Lawrence. So when he was 20 and 5, he was fighting a guy that's 9 and 4. He lost to a 10 and 2 guy on decision at LFA when he was 20 and 4. 19 and 4, he beat a guy that was 11 and 6. 18 and 4, he beat a guy that was 16 and 8 and 1. Lost to a guy that was 10 and 5. Got knocked out on the LFA. Beat a guy that was 13 and 6, 7 and 3, 13 and 9, 7 and 3, 9 and 5, 7 and 2, 2 and 1 when he's 11 and 3, 6 and 4 when he's 10 and 3. Got TKO'd by a guy who was 7 and 3 when he was 10 and 2. He was fighting a guy that was his debut while he was 9 and 2. Lost to a guy that's 5 and 2 when he was 9 and 1. Lost to a guy who was 5 and 0 when he was 9 and 0. That was good. He beat a guy that was 11 and 5 when he was 8 and 0. 7 and 0, he's beating a guy that's 2 and 2. 6 and 0, beating a guy that's 1 and 1. 5 and 0, beating a guy that's 0 and 1. 4 and 0, beating a guy that's 3 and 4. Just a padded record. And when you compare that, he's beaten to some guys, he's lost to some guys that, Chris McCate, not the best. Lauren Douglas, not the Larian Douglas. I don't like these guys that he's losing to. I don't like it. Javier Reyes, and then he loses to Eric Von Scalde. And then Larian Douglas beats Javier Reyes. And then beats Elijah Jones and Cam Teague on the Contender Series. Not the worst, but Cam Teague is awful. Cam Teague is a guy that got knocked out by Vallejos too, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Lost Strip Mariscal. I just don't think I'm impressed with Javier Reyes, whereas Douglas Silva de Andrade, right? He lost to Miles John. Pretty good, 14 and 2, pretty good. Beat Cody Stamann, who's 21, 5 and 1. Lost to Said Nurmagomedov. Not the best decision. Beat Sergey Morozov, submitted him. Counter left hook to Gatiano Pereira, right? Lost to Lerone Murphy at featherweight. He's a bantamweight. I'm pretty sure it was short notice. Lost to Lerone Murphy. Beat Renan Barao. Pretty good. Lost to Petr Yan. Got technically, corner stoppage in round 2. He beat prime 2018 Marlon Vera, dude. Lost to Rob Font, got submitted, He's been in the UFC since 2014, I trust him. He is old. That's what scares me. He's very, very old. 40 to, my UFC doesn't show age for some reason. For some weird reason, they don't show age. So let me pull that up real quick. How old are they? Excuse me. 40 to 32. But I think Javier Reyes, he got a good win on the Contender Series. I was just saying how the Contender Series has evolved. But I don't think Javier Reyes is all that. Reyes, is all that. I think Douglas Silva de Andrade, he's old, but he's been there. He's been a time or two. He's 29, 6 and 1. He's only lost to Petr Yan, Rob Font, Lerone Murphy, are like his most recent losses. Beating everybody else. And then that one other guy. Who's pretty good. Who was it? Oh man, I closed it. I'm too lazy. Anyways. I just don't think Javier Reyes has what it takes to get done. I think that De Silva or De Andrade can get this done via decision. Like, he's coming in with a reach advantage, leg reach disadvantage, doesn't matter. Reyes is going to show up. He's not going to know what to do against a guy who's been in there, who knows how to make it a distance, can grapple, out grapple him, I think. Mix it up very well. I don't think Reyes is going to be ready for that. And I think, is he Mexican? He's Brazilian. So it's a Brazilian versus Colombian. So they don't have the judge's favor. Probably Reyes has the judge's favor. But I think De Andrade can get it done. You know, he's ranked number 40 in bantamweight on Tapology for a reason. He's pretty good. You know, he's 40, but he's pretty good. I think he can hold the line on someone of Reyes' level. Right? Moving up. So Douglas Silva de Andrade by decision. Christian Quinones versus Chris Matinho. I mean, it's a Christian Quinones round 2 knockout. And sad to say, because Chris Matinho, I feel bad. 14-7. They're both coming off of losses. He's from Mexico, 5'8", inch taller, 2-inch reach advantage, 2-inch leg reach advantage. I think he is like a heavy favorite. What are the odds? Minus 750 favorite. You know, Chris Matinho gets beat up, dude. He just gets beat up. He's lost a lot, taken a lot of damage. You know, lost to Sean O'Malley, lost to someone else. Like had 2 nasty standing TKOs in the UFC, and then had to switch. He's been boxing and grappling, losing in boxing, losing in grappling. Yeah, he lost to Sean O'Malley, punch a standing TKO, and then Guido Canietti, standing punches TKO round 1, quicker than O'Malley. But then, you know, he's beaten Antonio Castillo Jr. 14-16 on the regional scene. Matthias Silva 8-2, you know, decent. Jay Presley choking guys out 6-3 though. Elijah Harris, he's 12-6. Elijah Harris is 6-7. Oh my goodness, I hate that stupid joke. Johnny Campbell, he's 13-6. Johnny Campbell's 22-16. Then loses to Malcolm Wellmaker. I think Christian Quinones, you know, he lost to Honey Barcelos and Kyung Hong Kang. But besides that, he beat Long Zhao. Very good win on the Contender Series. Long Zhao is no joke. I really rate that win. You know, Honey Barcelos showed him a thing or two. You know, showed him a thing or two. Too bad. You know, Christian Quinones, you know, beat Khalid Taha, and then Kyo Hyung Song. He got submitted back to back. Now, I could see a Matinho maybe getting him down a little bit. He has decent grappling, but not enough where I think it's going to stifle Christian Quinones or make him get a submission, you know. That would be his only way to win, though. But, you know, Christian Quinones has 6 TKOs in round 2. And Chris Matinho is just very hittable. He's slow, not athletic. Both these guys don't look athletic, though. Just looking at them, they do not look athletic. Let's just be honest. Don't look at the most athletic people in the world for professional fighters. But, you know, that's just how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with Christian Quinones over Chris Matinho. He's had no success in the UFC, and I don't think he'll start having success now. Second round KO, just sad KO, you know, or TKO probably. He's hard to put away unless you got Malcolm Wellmaker power. Moving up, Aylin Perez, number 7 versus Macy Chasson, number 8. I'm gonna go with Aylin Perez. I know. She shakes her butt, dude. What are you doing? But she's also good. You know, 12-2. She's like on a 5-fight win streak. You know, a little bit shorter. Oh my goodness, so much shorter. I think that's better for grappling though. Reach disadvantage and leg reach disadvantage. But I think this is going to be a grappling heavy thing. And Macy Chasson and those, you know, baguette legs is going to be something for Aylin Perez to wrap up. I feel like she's heftier than Chasson. She missed weight? Saying she's 137.5. She must have missed weight. which is not good because she must have had a bad weight cut then. Um, but Aylin Perez wins. Macy Chanson, she's decent. She is good. Let's see. But she's on 2-fight loss streak. Lost to Yana Santos, Ketlin Vieira. Beat Mayra Bueno Silva. Freaking hate these Spanish names, dude. Mayra, or that's a Brazilian name, I think, because it's Silva. So that's hate these Brazilian names. Mayra Bueno Silva. Beat Panini Concede. Irene Aldun got KO'd to the liver. I could see maybe Macy Sachon can get some grappling off, maybe. But again, I think Aylin Perez is a little bit tougher. Her only 2 losses are submissions, I'm pretty sure. I think she's been submitted twice, both in the UFC early in her career. But now she's kind of found her stride. Not the best, not the worst. She got DQ'd against Temis Vidal for illegal knees. Her only loss in the UFC is to Stephanie Edgar by getting rear naked choked in round 2. But besides that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-fight winning streak. She did miss weight against Daria Zelaskana, but she beat Jocelyn Edwards. Now, of course, that was before Jocelyn Edwards went on the crazy run, but that shows me that she can deal with someone with a reach advantage. That shows me that she can kind of take on someone with not too much power, but Jocelyn Edwards is kind of dangerous on the feet. She's going to win, 29-28 decision, and then shake her butt. And the Mexican crowd's going to go crazy. She's going to shake her butt after she wins. There's no stopping it. Macy Chanson, her only kind of big success is the split decision win over Norma Dumont. But she's done nothing since then, Nothing since then. Bit more of a man. Looks a bit more of a man. Got that man haircut. But Aylin Perez, the UFC wants her to keep on going, dude. They want her to keep on going. There's this new Argentina kind of rise. Kevin Vallejos, Esteban Rivovic. There's another guy 327 that's also Argentinian. She's from Argentina. There's kind of an Argentinian wave coming in the UFC, and I think Aylin Perez is one of those top people leading the charge. Decision win for Aylin Perez. Just how it's going to be. Next up, Ryan Gondra versus Jose Daniel Medina. I'm going Ryan Gondara by first round KO. First round KO because Jose Daniel Medina is there to just get beat up. Lost to, what's his name? Ateba Gutierrez. Lost to Zach Reese. Lost to who? Dustin Stolfish submitted him. He's just there to get hit, dude. He's from Bolivia. But he's no threat. He's no threat at all. He just stands there, gets beat up. I don't know how he's in the UFC. He's just a punching bag. He's a tough punching bag that's fat for middleweight. Ryan Gandra, got some KOs. 6'1", a little bit taller. Same reach. A little bit shorter in leg length. He's shown some success, though. He's coming off of a KO win for the Contender Series. He's on a streak. And Jose Daniel Medina is just there to be beat up. He's only lost, his last 4 fights are all losses. Lost to Zachary Reese. That's all I really need to say. This guy lost to Zachary Reese. You saw how bad he was against Michelle Pereira. So yeah, Ryan Gandra, round 1 KO. Hilarious fact. Maybe Jose Daniel Medina will say come on, and then get flatlined. He doesn't really get flatlined though. He gets actually round 1 submission, dude. Crafty submission pick. He'll drop Jose Daniel Medina in the open, or maybe against the cage, and Medina's gonna give up his bag to try and scramble away, and then Gondra's gonna follow him down and choke him out in round 1. Boom. Crafty round 1 submission. Anyways. Moving up to the main card, Santiago Luna versus Angel Pecho. It's a Santiago Luna time, dude. It's Luna time. Now, I am a little scared. No, actually, never mind. KO for Ryan Gandra. KO. KO. Not submission, KO. I think it'd be funny, though. I could see him just submitting Jose Daniel Medina because he'll just give up on the floor and he's hard to put away, so he just, like, mercy submits him. I'm gonna go with KO, though. Round 1 KO. Anyways, like I was saying, it's Santiago Luna time, dude. Height advantage, reach advantage, leg reach advantage. Let's go. Got some power. He's coming off of his win of, I remember who he got his win off of. I'm not searching up right now. Quang Lee, faced some trouble in the first half of the fight against Quang Lee. Was getting hit a little bit, but then came back and then knocked Quang Lee out. Desmond Manabat, Magomed Budev, Josimar Cuevas. I don't know, dude. I don't know how Angela Pacheco's here, though. Lost to Danny Silva on the Contender Series by decision. Danny Silva's decent. Lost to Caroline Lauren by decision. He's just 31 years old, dude. Angela Pecho is 31 years old. Santiago Luna, bit of a prospect, 21 years old. And the thing is, he's like 34 and he's not a vet. He's not a UFC vet. He's not. He has some losses, but I don't think Angel Pacheco is the guy to give Santiago Luna his first loss in the UFC. He just made it to the UFC himself, basically, and he's only lost. I think Santiago Luna's got the power to put him away. I think he's got decent enough grappling where Pacheco won't be able to submit him outright. I think it's going to be a struggle, and he's got to close in on Luna with a reach advantage, with a leg reach advantage. It's going to be very hard for him to do. Knees up to the middle. I feel like Angel Pacheco's weak to the body for some reason. I don't know. A little flab I'm seeing right there. There's some flab. Very awful chest hair. I think Santiago Luna can get this done. Round 1 KO, dude. Round 1 KO. Maybe round 2. I think Luna gets most of his KOs in the second round. Let's see. When does Luna get most of his KOs? 2 in the first, 1 in the third. And Luna's a bit of a submission guy himself. 4 wins by submission, 3 wins by KO. Trust him wherever the fight goes. Maybe he'll submit him then. How many times has Angel Pacheco lost via submission? He's only lost by decision. Man. I think Luna's going to be the first to put him away. I think a round 2 KO is pretty good. I think around 2, maybe round 1. Luna's he's pretty fast starter, dude. Never gone to a decision, Luna. That's what scares me. Pacheco could drag him out to a decision, but he's had round 3 TKO, so he's at least gone somewhat 3 rounds. I think round 1 he's going to hurt Pacheco bad. Towards the end of the round, get him close to finishing. And then round 3, or round 2, just put him away. Put him away. Santiago Luna, round 2 KO. Alright, moving up. Is this the feature fight? No, it's not. Emanol Rodriguez versus Kevin Borjas. I'm going with Emanol Rodriguez, dude. This guy's a monster. I was hyped off of him from the Ultimate Fighter because I thought he beat Joseph Morales. It was a very close fight. Showed very good grappling, very good footwork, very good striking, and Joseph Morales is no joke. And I thought he beat him on the Ultimate Fighter. Split decision loss to him though. But that's only his only loss so far is a Joseph Morales loss where Joseph Morales was a little bit too crafty for him, maybe. And that's how he got that split decision win. But he's crisp boxing, good grappling. The only thing that scares me is he's small, dude. 5'4", 64.5 reach, very short reach. He has a leg reach advantage somehow. I think, though, his boxing is crisp enough where he can get in the pocket. He's very good at pivoting and stuff like that. Very clean Mexican boxing, dude. This guy's got Canelo hands. Emmanuel Rodriguez, dude, he is going to be a problem in the future. Again, I'm worried about his size. Very worried about his size. But he's young. What is he? Is he 20? 26? Kevin Borjas is only 28. But I think Emmanuel Rodriguez has what it takes. Has what it takes to get this win over Kevin Borjas. Like I said, I thought he beat Joseph Morales. And you saw what Joseph Morales did against Alibi Idris, who, beat Ode Osborne pretty well. And Ode Osborne almost beat Steve Erceg, and Steve Erceg almost beat Pantoja. So really, Emmanuel Rodriguez did beat Pantoja, if you think about it. If you do the mental math, Emmanuel Rodriguez has beat Pantoja. He's going to be a champ one day, I think. If he can keep on overcoming his reach, he's got like T-Rex arms, kind of, not too much. He's just 5'4", dude. It's hard. Even Josh Van isn't that small, I don't think. Let's see. Let's find out together. Joshua Van. Let's see. Joshua Van is 5'5", and he has a 65-inch reach. Whereas... Oh, so only an inch taller and half an inch longer. So you know what? I trust him, dude. Got some power, got some pop in his shots. I think Emmanuel Rodriguez is going to get this done. Round 1 KO. Alright? Or did I say round 1? I may have said something else. Round 2 KO. He gets most of his KOs in round 2. I'm going to follow that. I think Kevin Borjas gets KO'd mostly in round 2. So round 2 KO. Easy win for Emmanuel Rodriguez. He's going to be a problem. Like I said, you better watch out for him. But moving up. Feature fight of the night. Nope, it's not. It's not. Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunes. 12-6-1 against a 14-8. This guy's Mexican. Oh my goodness, look at that jaw. 5'7" and 5'7". 71-inch reach advantage to 69-inch reach advantage, so a 2-inch reach advantage. 40 inches in the leg reach compared to 38.5 inches in the leg reach, so that's a 1.5 leg reach advantage. I'm going to go with Edgar Chairez. Decision, probably. Felipe Bunes has not really shown anything. TKO'd by Joshua Van. Lost to a decision to Rafael Estevam. Jose Johnson submitted him. Yuma Horiuchi KO'd him. Huascar Cruz split decision to him, but Edgar Chairez, he's only lost to Tatsuro Taira and Joshua Van recently. Daniel Ladarda submitted him. Sigue Vergara submitted him. I think the grappling is going to cancel each other out. And it's going to be kind of a scramble heavy, grappling heavy battle. And I think Edgar Chairez is 30, whereas Felipe Bunes is 36. I think that youth is going to help him out. He's going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more spry. Felipe Bunes got to oil up his joints in between each round. And I think Chairez is just going to get away with the cardio, be a little bit quicker in the scrambles, in the grappling, be a little bit stronger, and be able to pop a jab when needed to. When they are, I don't think they'll be striking too much, but I think when they are striking, he can pop a jab maybe once or twice, stay ahead, be quicker. I think an Edgar Chairez decision is the way to go on this one. Both lost, both have a lot of losses, but I think Edgar Chairez has he has all the tools at his disposal to get this done. Submission defense. I don't think Felipe Bunes is too much of a threat. Both are Joshua Van victims. But Edgar Chairez went to a decision to drop against Joshua Van, and Felipe Bunes got finished. So instantly who's better. But yeah, Edgar Chairez decision. Now is the main event, or feature fight of the night. Daniel Zellhuber versus King Bobby King Green. 15-3 versus 33-17, 1-1. Daniel Zellhuber's Mexican. 3-inch height advantage, 6-inch reach advantage, 3.5-inch leg reach advantage. I think this is going to be a Zellhuber decision. Just because Zellhuber is weird, dude. He's very weird. Just lost to Michael Johnson. Lost a decision to him. Coming off of, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, lost to Michael Johnson, lost to Esteban Ribovic. But the Ribovic fight was a split decision. And I think Daniel Zellhuber handles volume very well, and that's all Bobby Green has. He just has volume. His last fight, I thought he lost against Leroy Gibson Jr. Is that the name? Did I pull that off the top of my head? Lance Gibson Jr. Lance Gibson Jr. I thought he lost. Bobby Green can be like a Jim Miller maybe, who's a little more set in the stance and who he can kind of trade back and forth. But Daniel Zellhuber, he got clipped by Michael Johnson once, but besides that, he's long, he's range, he's going to be hard to hit for someone like Bobby Green. He just looks so bad against Michael Johnson. But I'm going to trust, if it's close, they're going to go to Zellhuber because he's Mexican. They're in Mexico at altitude. This whole I didn't even bring that into consideration. They're at altitude, huh? Mexico. They're at altitude. Oh well. Hopefully that won't affect any of my previous decisions too much. Like mainly Mexicans. Anyways. Daniel Zellhuber, King Green. I think Daniel Zellhuber is just gonna out volume him, stay a little bit cleaner, not get hit as much. I don't see King Green being a threat, dude. He's not a threat. Daniel Zellhuber's got decent kicks. Bobby Green, I feel like, is very open to body kicks for some reason. In my mind, he's very open to body kicks, probably because of his stance. He's walking like a Roblox character. So I feel like he's open to body kicks, teeps up the middle, stuff like that, because he just walks with his hands low. He emotes a lot to try and make it look like he's winning. But he doesn't win, dude. Lance Gibson Jr., I thought he lost. KO'd by Mauricio Rufy. Submitted by Pimlet badly. I think he's going to lose a decision to Daniel Zellhuber. Maybe like a 29-28. Zellhuber just staying long and rangy. Surviving Ribovic. Zellhuber surviving Ribovic makes me feel a lot better. Like, if he can survive Ribovic but can't survive King Green, we are in trouble for the future of lightweight. We are in trouble. But I think he'll get it done. Like I said, 29-28 decision. Moving on. Marlon Vera, David Martinez. I'm going to go with David Martinez because Marlon Vera is a punching bag. He does nothing. Very low output. He does he may wobble Martinez because Martinez didn't have the best fight against Rob Font. He just beat Rob Font, but it wasn't the most impressive. It wasn't the most impressive thing ever. Kind of, what's it called? I think he lost round 1 and then almost lost round 2, and then he just had a burst of energy at the end of round 2 and 3. But I don't think Marlon Vera is going to capitalize on him kind of being a slow starter, because Marlon Vera is kind of just like he kind of is wandering around the octagon, and then if if you're in his line of sight, he may throw a jab. But Marlon Vera is kind of in roaming mode. When the fight starts, he's put in roaming mode, and he's just kind of looking around. He's like, man, this place is kind of sick. Altitude 2, I think it's going to make Marlon Vera throw even less. I know he's from, Colombia? Ecuador. Maybe they're also elevation. I don't know if I'm being honest. He just doesn't do anything, dude. Vera does nothing. Lost as a hobby. Lost to O'Malley. Lost to what is his loss streak right now? He's on a 5-fight loss streak or whatever. He's on a 3-fight loss streak. So he beat Pedro Munoz, lost to O'Malley, lost to Figueiredo, lost as a hobby. He just doesn't do enough. David Martinez, he's 27. Vera's 33. He's coming in a little bit shorter, a little bit reach disadvantage, but these advantages, Vera does not use his reach or his leg reach advantage. He just doesn't. Martinez, I think, will close in easily without any threat to close in. Vera's not like a really watch out on the come in, dude. He'll check hook you, or he'll throw some tight hooks, or knees up the middle and stop you from coming in, or he doesn't use his length to his advantage. He just kind of sits there, uh, kind of strikes with you, not even really strikes with you. He'll just like lay you out, strike him, give up on it, and then be upset when he loses a decision. And that's just how it is. Martinez, like I said, the Rob Font wasn't the best fight, but he won it, beat Rob Font, got like a KO because what's that ref name? What's that ref's name? The bald one who's retarded. Dan Mergliotta let him 5 minutes after the bell had finished on the final round TKO Rob Font. He had Rob Font in north south, and he was hitting Rob Font on the side of the head, and the bell rings, and he still keeps on hitting him 30 seconds after the bell or the horn has sounded. But I think Martinez will get it done again. I'm just gonna point it out one more time. They're in Mexico. Mexican judges are kind of easy to tell that you're in Mexico. Is all I'm gonna say when you see the judging. I think David Martinez gets it done by a decision. I can maybe see a knockout, but I don't. Maybe Vera's just taking so much damage he gets knocked out now, but I don't think Vera doesn't get knocked out because he doesn't give you an opportunity to knock him out. You know, you're not going to catch Vera with something that even with the O'Malley knee thing. Vera just doesn't get caught in knockout positions, and he's not going to get caught in another knockout position because he doesn't throw to be put into a knockout position. So yeah, Marlon Vera, maybe he wobbles Martinez at one point, hits him with something, but not enough to win 29-28, maybe even 30-27, even though he should have won a round, but the judges still give Martinez the round. But yeah, moving up, main event. Number 6, Brandon Moreno versus unranked 9-1 Loner Kavanagh. It's a Moreno decision. Maybe even a Moreno 4th or 5th round TKO. I'm actually gonna say it like a Moreno round 5 KO. I think that's fair. Round 4 or 5 KO for Moreno is very plausible. I think you've seen how he was against Charles Johnson. Very, very defensively poor Kavanagh is. I don't think his cardio is going to hold up in a 5-rounder with Moreno, who's pretty volume heavy. Now, recently, Moreno's been stinking it up. Kind of a weak stoppage for Taylor, for a Taylor loss. But he, split decision against Royval. Royval's really good. Beat Amir Albazi and then Steve Erceg. They are all miles above Kavanagh at this point. Kavanagh needs to work into it, and he's taking this on short notice. Not super short notice. This has been known for a couple months now, but Kavanagh just doesn't have what it takes, 3-inch reach disadvantage, 2.5-inch leg reach disadvantage. No, that's, yeah, 2.5. No, 1.5. Sorry. Moreno's going to do his thing where he's, and that's the whole fight. He'll jab at Kavanagh. I think rounds 3, 4, and 5 is when Moreno's going to really put it on him. Try and get a finish to make it look good. Kavanagh may have some moments in round 1 and maybe round 2, and that's just Moreno kind of figuring him out, kind of playing it safe. But you saw against Erceg, Moreno, he'll make it boring. The last UFC Mexico, Moreno made it boring against Erceg because he's just kind of keeps it steady, and then even if it's close on the rounds, he'll shoot a takedown, take down Kavanagh, hold him there for a little bit, win rounds. He'll win rounds. So Erceg or Moreno decision's pretty good, but I think I'm gonna hope he has some finishing. He wants a finish. He wants to get a finish in Mexico. I hope he wants that. I hope he's going to try and get a finish in the 4th and 5th round. Late rounds TKO. Or Kavanagh's just kind of had enough. Kavanagh's just kind of broken at that point. Like I said, him being defensively uh, irresponsible, it's because he gets gassed out. I feel like, just slowly your hands get lower and lower. As a fighter, I'm a fighter. Just kidding. I did one boxing lesson and my core is still killing me. Um, but you just slowly forget your hands are there, and they just slowly get you down. And Moreno doesn't have Charles Johnson KO power. He doesn't like throw really hook. He doesn't really throw hooks. He's very jab heavy. Moreno's jab heavy, maybe an uppercut now and then. But he doesn't really throw hooks. Besides, like for like a counter, he'll like counter hook and stuff like that. But when he's starting combinations, he doesn't really throw hooks, in my opinion, unless I'm crazy. But I think Kavanagh just doesn't have the experience that's needed to beat a Moreno. He's not Joshua Van. Joshua Van was what 13-1 or whatever, 14-1, or like four. I think he was like 14-2. Do I still have Joshua Van pulled up? I do. Perfect example. So he lost to Charles Johnson when he was 10-1. Then he went on 1, 2, 3, 4 fight win streak, and he took on Brandon Royval when he was 13-2, like I thought. 13-2 against the number one contender. All right, that's a lot different than a 9-1 Lona Kavanagh taking up, number 6 Moreno. Big jump up, coming off of a loss too. This should have gone to like a Joseph Morales. If I'm being honest, I sing his praises, dude. Joseph Morales and Manuel Rodriguez. That's gonna be a sick championship fight later down the line. You watch out. But realistically, this should have gone to Joseph Morales. Half Mexican himself, but he represents America. Could have been a sick fight. I feel like Joseph Morales may have even won that. But Lona Kavanagh got it. They called him up. I don't know why. Ilia Topuria thinks he's going to be a problem. But right now, he's not a problem. Right now, he's a victim. And Moreno's going to tee off him in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round and get a finish. Round 5 KO, TKO up against the fence. He may even now grapple and submit Kavanagh. I don't know. He just hasn't. Kavanagh hasn't really gone against somebody of Moreno's level in any department. Nowhere near anyone's level in Moreno's grappling, or he's never fought anyone with Moreno's level of grappling or striking. He just can't do anything, I feel like, that will make Moreno respect him. I don't think he has the power needed to do it, Moreno's got a good chin, dude. He's got a good chin. I don't think he'll be able to out-grapple Moreno. I think he'll just be there and get hit, So I think Moreno, round 5 KO or a decision are the best things. That's my picks for UFC Mexico. Sick poster, by the way, though. Like, some of these posters, look at some of these posters. You got that one. Holloway Oliveira. This doesn't look good, but once you see, like, let's Google Holloway Oliveira Vera 2. Dude, look at this. Look at this poster, dude. You see that? Pretty sick poster. I'm going on a tangent, but like, look at that, dude. That's pretty sick, huh? Anyways, like, they're making sick posters now. That's what I've noticed, This one, not the best. That, dude, look at that. Wake you up real quick with that one. That's a pretty sick poster. Oh, no. Let's just go back to here before I lose all of my viewers. But yeah. I think that's my picks for UFC Mexico. Moreno Kavanagh. Sorry I did it so late. I'm just lazy. It's 1:30 in the morning. I have work in 4 hours. Let's go. Hope y'all enjoyed. Don't be funny. Make some money. Buy the numbers. Peace out, pal.